So let's talk about buying a house and what the purpose of buying a house is. And I like to tell people that a house is nothing more than really a stepping stone to get to your next phase in life. So for some of you, that is a first-time home buyer. That's your very first home that you're purchasing. And maybe you have an idea that, boy, I would love to have a nice, big, beautiful home at some time in the future. But my experience is that it's very difficult to get straight from being first-time home buyer to getting to that where you're in the nice, big house with the pool and the huge backyard and all that good stuff, if you haven't had some purchases along the way, because we leverage real estate in a way of building equity and things like that. And we take that equity and we move it to the next part, and to the next part, and the next part. Same thing if maybe you're in a house already and you're moving down. Ideally you have your house, you have equity, maybe you've paid it off, and it's time to move down. There's things that you need to be aware of as well, and how to play the market in a way that gives you the best advantage. Maybe you're just a lateral movement, right? We just want to move into a different house. That's all. Some people are like that, and that's great. Again, all these tips and tricks that we're going to share with you are that. But these are all stepping stones to get to the next place. And I run into a lot of people, a lot of home buyers, who look at them as they want what they want and they want it now. But if they don't get it, then they just don't ever make a purchase. And I've purposely, there's one person that I kind of stay in touch with that I remember when I met with him, and this has to be 15 years ago. He said to me, he goes, "Anthony, I know prices are going to go down, and I know that the market's going to crash, and I know that this is going to happen and all that stuff. And while that has happened in that period of time, even when it was at his bottom and I would follow up with him, and he goes, no, they're going to go lower and lower and lower, and interest rates are going to go lower, and this and that, and I'll be able to buy just the killer house." And what ended up happening was he missed that opportunity, and in the end, he still doesn't own a house. He's never owned a house in his entire life because he's always waiting for that perfect opportunity, right? I'll give you a little bit of my story. Me and my wife were married at the age of 18, bought our first condo at the age of 20, and we bought it for $75,000. It's over here in North Santa Ana. Nice little place. Bought it for $75,000, thought that was fair. We ended up almost 2 years later, because this was early 90s, when they closed all the military bases and everything like that, the value of our condo went down to almost $13,000. I mean, that will rip your hair out, right? I'm losing that much money. But we stuck it out, and we said, okay, well, hey, it is what it is. It's the real estate market, right? We ended up selling it about 7 years later for $245,000. Bought another house, paid $160,000 for it, which at the time I thought was ridiculous, because at that time the market that was crazy to think that you would spend $160,000 in a house. Now I would love to spend $160,000 in a house. But we ended up selling it less than 5 years later for almost $500,000. That was right during the peak of the market. And so if you don't have a property to leverage, and like in this guy's case, he has no property to leverage. He's never going to get to that next stepping stone. So let us help you make your next stepping stone. And one thing we didn't mention in the intro was that when you buy a house with us, we'll actually give you your first mortgage payment. That's simple. Let's move on to the next training.